what's the dumbest thing I hear every draft season said by somebody? And it's not just somebody, one person. It's usually a group of people, or a large group of people. They always come back to this, right? You be talking about a player, you be excited about a player, but like with Jordan Davis, right? I like Jordan Davis. I'm excited about Jordan Davis. But if I say anything about Jordan Davis and how he would fit on the Browns on Twitter or even on here, what's going to be 20% of the comments? Oh, Quincy, Jordan Davis is clearly not going to be here. Why are you even talking about it? Why are you wasting your time? Jordan Davis, he's going to be going to pick 10. And we do this all the time, where we act like we know the order of the draft, when every year at least one person falls to the second round. And honestly, if you're a Cleveland Browns fan, you have no excuse, dog. This is the team that got JOK in the second round. Didn't make any sense when it happened. Still don't make sense now, but we got him. This is the team that got Grant Delpit in the second round. This is the team that got Greedy Williams and Nick Chubb. We got the best running back in the draft, where the running back went number 2 overall and like 3 running backs went in the first round. We got the best one in the second round. How did that happen? Because not every team is good at this. We cannot make assumptions that all 32 teams are going to make a reasonable decision under pressure. That just isn't how this thing works. There's going to be a team that drafts somebody you have never heard of in the first round, and in 5 years from now, you'll look at their draft and go, who the hell was that? It always happens, but every year we act like that is so impossible, that none of these players can get to 44 or 35 or wherever it is that you're picking late. We act like nobody ever slides in the draft, but every year a bunch of players slide for reasons that sometimes are good, but also for reasons that sometimes are just very, very dumb. All right. And I'm going to pick 3 players here that I see falling down draft boards. They might not end up being fallers, but if these dudes fall to day 2, they will bust the draft for the Cleveland Browns. What I mean by that is, if these guys are here, all hell breaks loose on how the Browns are going to try to get them. All right. Because these dudes should not be available in the second round. But if they are, hey, man, we're going to have to make that move. And then that throws Perion Winfrey out the window. You know, I'm not happy about that. But, hey, maybe he slides 2 to 75. But it would throw a lot of things out the window that we've been talking about. But what we've been talking about isn't what's only possible. There's going to be somebody who falls. It happens every year. All right, let's talk about the first guy. And this is the guy that's gotten a lot of steam lately, Treylon Burks. If Treylon Burks falls to the Cleveland Browns at 44, it's a wrap on whatever that board is. It's a wrap on whatever we think we could get at other positions, at other points. It's a wrap, dog. We're getting Treylon Burks. We're running to the podium, and we're happy about this. Now, why is Treylon Burks falling? Well, the height ain't a problem. The weight ain't a problem. The wingspan ain't a problem. The arm length, the hand size, the 10-yard split isn't a problem. What's the problem? He doesn't jump super high. His 3-cone drill was slow, and his 40-yard dash was slow. Now, I'm not here to say that all of those measurements, all of those metrics mean nothing. But sometimes, if you want to see how good a football player is, the best thing to go off of, and I know this is a crazy idea, but the best thing to go off of is how that dude plays football. You know what I mean? Like, so much of this other testing goes on. How much can you bench press? How far can you jump? How high can you jump? How fast can you run 40 yards? That we get caught up in all of that. We forget that, like, you have to play football, right? Like, we're not doing combine drills to win football games. We are playing actual football. And what I know about Treylon Burks is that he's an excellent football player. Oh, he only runs a 4.55 40. You know who gets open a ton and is dangerous with the football and has a slow 40? Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp got 4.6 jets, I think. I don't think he ran like a 4.3 or anything like that. I don't even think he ran 4.4. Cooper Kupp ran like 4.6. Let me correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section, but I don't believe I'm wrong about that. Cooper Kupp was not fast coming out of Eastern Washington. But do it matter? Do it matter? Right? Jarvis Landry. Yeah, Cooper Kupp ran 4.62. Look at that. That's Cooper Kupp's 40. 4.62. 4.62. Does it matter? Does it matter? And Anthony Schwartz run 4.22. He can't get open. I'm asking you, how much does the 40 time really matter for wide receivers? I think we think it means the most for wide receivers. It really means the least. Jarvis Landry ran like a 4.78. Like he ran slower than Perion Winfrey. Not Perion Winfrey. He ran slower than Jordan Davis. That's Jarvis Landry might not beat Jordan Davis in a foot race, dog. First of all, just congratulations, Jordan Davis. You're the most freaky athlete I've ever seen in my life. But that's how fast Jarvis Landry is not. Has it affect his ability to get open? Rashard Higgins is another example of a guy who's not even a great wide receiver, but can get open with very slow feet. 4.8 40 or something like that, right? The 40 time is so overrated to wide receivers because we think it matters the most to wide receivers because it would seem like right? Wide receivers are the only people who are asked to run in the straight line for 40 yards. Like we would think that matters. It doesn't. You know why it doesn't matter? Because getting open is just a skill in itself. You can be slow-footed and be able to get open. You can be old and be able to get open. You can have terrible shuttle times but know how to get open because getting open as a wide receiver is a skill in itself. You aren't going to be athletically gifted enough just to get open by your own athletic gifts. You need to have the skill to get open. So you can draft a wide receiver who has all these amazing measurables. Oh, he's fast, he's quick, he has all this. But if he can't get open in college, the odds that he's going to be able to get open in the NFL are very, very low. When I watched Treylon Burks, he was playing in the SEC, he was getting open. So you know what that tells me? I don't care what his damn 40 time is. I don't care at all what his 3-cone drill is. He's long, he's strong, he has good arm length and good hand size. He's able to catch the football on a consistent basis, and his 10-yard split isn't abysmal. He'll be able to get open. He ain't going to be no deep threat. But who cares if he can get open? DeAndre Hopkins has been a number 1 wide receiver in the league for how long, and he ain't fast? Like, name all these wide receivers. Devontae Adams is not as fast as you would think. All the fast receivers, like there's Tyreek Hill, and then there's a bunch of dudes who are role players as fast receivers. There really isn't like the 4.22 guy who ends up being the best receiver in the NFL. That rarely ever happens. Think of Ted Ginn. Like he had to develop skill sets before he could be a good receiver or a serviceable receiver in the NFL. This is what it is, right? We think so much that 40 time means so much to a wide receiver. And I just think personally that means the little amount of what a wide receiver could be. Can you get open? That should be the first question. If you're watching a wide receiver on tape, don't throw everything out just because the homie's not fast. Can he get open? Does he get open? Who's he getting open against? Is he getting open in the SEC? Okay, I think the homie can get open. Like that's really as complicated as it needs to be. But Bill Belichick has this great quote. He does, and this is why he's the greatest. Well, statistically. Football is a game that very, very dumb men have made difficult. We make this so difficult on ourselves. We try to put all these rules and guardrails and things in front of us when at the end of the day, can the homie play football? Yes or no? And all you got to do is watch football to know. Right? You know what I mean? We make this more difficult than we need to. All right. The second dude, and this is another, can the homie play football? Yeah. Why are we doing all of this questions? George Karlaftis. I don't know why in the world people think that he's going to fall, like as far as people think he's going to fall. It's ridiculous. If George Karlaftis gets to the second round, we got to trade up everything to get him. He's really, really good. I'm not going to say he's going to be as good as a Watt brother, not a Watt brother. Well, yeah, he might not be as good as a Watt brother, but he could be as good as them Bosa brothers, right? Like, I think he's going to be really good. I like him. I like his athleticism. Well, he has limited athleticism, but he has good athleticism. He has good technique. He has nice bend. I like George Karlaftis. I think if he gets there, you take him. He's going to be an edge. You can put him next to Myles Garrett for the next 10 years, and he'll be all right. Why is he falling, though? His bench press wasn't impressive. His height and weight are okay. His wingspan, little concern for some folks, right? Arm length, small. Other than that, he could play football. And again, man, the defensive line is another one of those positions. When you watch a defensive lineman, when you watch an offensive lineman, when you get in those trenches, I talk about this so much because it's so important. You know when a defensive player, a defensive lineman or offensive lineman likes to fight. Right? And I'm not saying get all these penalties or anything like that, but I am saying when they like to fight, when they like contact, when they like to get down and gritty, you can tell, right? Perion Winfrey, immediately noticeable, right? How many Andrew Billings is a great example. I don't want to like slander the dude or nothing like that, but he didn't like to fight that much. And that's why he got pushed around so much during training camp, right? Because the Browns offensive line is full of dudes who like to fight. Wyatt Teller loves to fight. You watch Wyatt Teller for 1 second, you're like, okay, brother likes to fight. Now, the reason I think a lot of people misdiagnose a defensive and offensive lineman so much is because they don't look for that physicality. They don't value that enough. And again, the measurables are fine. The measurables will help you find some red flags to look for in their tape. But the measurables should never, ever overpower the tape. The tape on George Karlaftis is really good. I don't care what his measurables are. Unless he has something abysmal, then you should probably take him because he could play football well. Now, he's not going to be Myles Garrett or nothing like that. You can't expect him to be Myles Garrett, but he'll be really good. Now, this is the one I don't get how in the world people really talk themselves out of. And if he falls anywhere close to the second round, I would trade everything to get him because I think him and JOK together would just be an amazing tandem. Kyle Hamilton, what are we doing here? What are we doing here, y'all? What in the world are we doing here? Why do we do this to ourselves? Right? If Kyle Hamilton falls to a good team in the 20s because everybody just collectively decided they wanted to get stupid, that's on them. That is on them. But none of this makes sense. The man is 6'4" at 220 pounds. He was one of the best safeties in college football, and we out here talking about a damn 40 time. And it's not like the 40 time was abysmal. It was 4.59. But again, 40 times are so overrated. They're so overrated. The 40 time does not matter as much as people think it does, especially for safety. Because you know what you don't really need as a free safety if you're good at playing safety? To be really fast. You don't need to have 4.3 speed as a safety. Most of the times, if you run that fast, you might not be able to diagnose as fast as you think, and you will make mistakes, right? You want a safety to be anywhere between 4.4 at the best if they're a really high processor, but 4.5 to 4.6. You can work with that range. There's a lot of safeties in there. But since the dude does not run 4.2 speed or 4.3 speed, people don't think he can play safety. He's really good at anticipating. He's really smart. He can read defenses. He can figure out where he needs to be. The beautiful thing about the safety position is that if you know what you're doing, you can always get a couple of steps. You think Ed Reed got all those pick sixes because he was fast? Or do you think Ed Reed got all those pick sixes because he knew exactly where to be before the ball was ever snapped, so he had a head start on whatever quarterback was throwing the football? You guys answer that question to me because I know what Ed Reed's answer going to be to that. Oh, yeah, I was just out thinking them boys, right? When Ed Reed was old, slow, why do you think Charles Woodson could play so long in this game, right? Because a lot of that position at safety is about your mental acumen at free safety. How smart of a football player are you? How anticipatory of a football player are you? Same thing as wide receiver, right? A lot of that's about how well can you run routes, how crisp can you run them, how well can you make sure your quarterback sees you're open, and how well can you anticipate a football. Same thing for safety. That's why that 40 time does not matter, because you're not always just starting flat-footed and then running 40 yards as a safety. Most of the time, you're 2-3 steps into your movement before the ball is ever snapped, because you're not on the line of scrimmage. You don't have to be set. You can move if you need to, right? So, again, it makes very little sense that he's dropping. I would be surprised if he dropped to the 20s, because I think he's probably going to be one of the best 6 players in this draft. But hey, if Kyle Hamilton comes anywhere near trade up range for the Cleveland Browns, take him in a heartbeat, pair him with JOK, and we gonna ride that thing out. We just got our 2000 we got our Ed Reed and Ray Lewis combo. It's not gonna be at the same level as those two. Those are probably gonna be the greatest to ever do it when it's all said and done. But you know, they'll be pretty damn good. I'm pretty confident of it. So please let him fall to the Browns. At 44, especially if you let him fall to 44, that's just ridiculous at that point. But come on, man. Like we do this every year with the draft. We talk ourselves out of good football players that we saw play good football because we saw a dude run a little bit slower than we expected in some shorts. Think about how ridiculous that is. We don't want to draft a dude to play football because he ran a slow 40 time. I'm just saying, man. I think some of the ways that we evaluate these players are a little antiquated, and we only do them because we've been doing them so long. And I think the 40-yard dash is one of those things that are very antiquated, and really get in the way of some good prospect evaluation, and really the reason why a lot of good players fall when they should have never failed. Their college tape was good. Oh, if they played in the All-Star game, they were probably good. Aaron Donald, right, fell because people didn't know what position to put him in. We do this all the time, dog, where a player is really good. We can see that they're really good, but we can't imagine where they would be, or we get caught up on one measurable, and we forget that the dude was really good at football. But that's my thoughts on this whole thing. Those are three players that I feel like could bust the draft for the Cleveland Browns. And if you get them, you run off like you stole something if you're Andrew Berry, which, he's stolen a couple things in the second round before. So I wouldn't be surprised. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. But again, guys, thank you for watching. Y'all have a great day. Have a good night.